what they do is we have 3 prices of elementary, middle school, high school. They take a weighted average of the 3, and there's a threshold you have to meet based on the number of lunches you serve in October. And that's how they do the calculation. Your number of lunches you have paid, the amount of what you charge for them, and where you were last year, because it's phases. So that's why we're slowly getting to, eventually we're going to have to charge $2.75.
So do we get to pick what prices increase? Yes. Or do they say how we
Yes, we pick them. What I try to do is I have lengthy discussions with Andy about it. Usually the high school and middle school are more because they get more food. In the elementary, I try to leave the lowest because, you know, the kids eat less. And you kind of have to manipulate it, though. The problem is wherever you sell most of the lunches that are paid is where you usually have to raise the price the most to get it to work out. The government, you would think they would be able to come up with something similar than that. But yeah.
I've never tried it
Sure.
Oh, that's a starting class.
Please don't tell me I forgot that. I did. Yeah, I'll run down real quick and grab it. I swear I grabbed it. Just Sharon's here and then yeah, Sharon just put her thing there.
Any word on the insurance?
I forgot to email her. I'm going to do that tomorrow.
How many do you have?
I'm sorry, Troy. I got it.
Larry was gardening.
Okay. Hey, I'll be right back. I forgot something. I got to run down and get it. Huh?
Are you guys here to, you know, round up?
Oh, you should rally for that. You're there. Down at the reception. How are you?
She's right here.
She was like, oh, where's my party? Is she outside? She is in the hallway. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to one.
Now listen.
Hell with that.
Hey, thanks for pulling me back on that one email, too. That's probably not it. That's one of those frustrating days, you know what I mean?
popularity.
Don't question my way there.
Well, hi, Mr. Spencer.
What's that?
Tell them all, she's dying. She thought there'd be one tonight, but
Well, let's get started.
We worked hard, what's like...
Well, you agree with me?
Verbal confirmation. Verbal confirmation.
What's going
Yeah, it started at 6 at Springfield High School.
on? Richard? Oh, we just shut down our jail.
Springfield. Just take your time.
We'll move the agenda around to get through the other stuff. Okay, all right.
Call to order, pledge of allegiance.
You'll be here at 5.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Jen.
Mr. Hutchinson?
Here.
Mr. Duco?
Here.
Mr. Hendricks?
Here.
Mr. Jennings?
Here.
Approval of minutes from the regular meeting of April 23rd, 2015.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Kurt. Second, Larry.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes. Approved special meeting minutes of May 12th, 2015.
Motion.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes. Treasurer's report?
Okay. Treasurer's report, we have bills, accounts payable, as well as financial reports, which include the board reports. Donations, we received $1,000 from the Eagles for the Eagles Scholarship and $4,000 from the Roratans for the Roratan Scholarships. Financial items to approve the May 2015 update to the 5-year forecast. And number 2, the 1-year renewal of nutrition. I am going to pull that from the agenda for the time being because I have to do some more research with Nutrition Group. So I would prefer not to put it on until I have the data I need.
Data's good.
Discussion? Roll call.
Motion.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Are we ready to discuss?
Are we ready to discuss?
Okay, I have a couple things on the, I noticed that in the bills, we're paying for caps and gowns and I think tassels and diplomas, maybe not caps and gowns, but diplomas and tassels.
Right.
I just think that's a cost of doing business and we should pay for that, the board should pay for that. It shouldn't necessarily be a fundraiser to do that.
Yeah, it comes out of the senior class now.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's usually the money they have left over from their junior
Yeah,
class.
and I understand.
Yeah, I agree.
I just would like to see some type of, like, administrative guidelines written as far as fundraising goes for maybe the beginning of the next school year.
Sure.
Maybe we could meet and talk about some things like that.
And I agree. Because
Yeah, maybe when the principals then approve the supplementals, they have some guidelines as to what we feel maybe is legitimate fundraising activities.
Yes, they do.
Has it always been a tradition to keep the entire wardrobe after you graduate?
I'm looking, I'm trying to
I
look.
graduated in New Jersey. We kept the cap and the tassel, but the robe was an interchangeable.
They keep the whole thing.
We've always kept it,
They
yeah.
keep- they keep-
We always keep that, and we do. Yeah.
Has anyone ever worn it?
I know that Mrs. Roth has a collection for people in future years if they need them. Yeah, so that's nice to have.
All right, no, that's all I had. One more thing, Jen, on the purchase services, on this month's purchase services, they went up significantly.
Yes, they did.
You made in the comments 3 items that increased. Did you kind of get a breakdown on those?
Yes, I did.
I saw that.
I think the majority of it is the fact that we had 2 electric bills posted in the same month. In the prior month, we did not have one. As well as, what else was I looking at? Like I said, the increase in the number of days the students were in session increased during April compared to March, which these bills are paid a month later, so it would actually be February versus March.
So the amount of the bill from the ESG or any of that, none of that changed. It's just
No, it's just
the
number of days, yes.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
We pay 7 times a year for electric. April's our last payment.
Oh, the other thing was seniors to sophomores, Jen. What was that? You have the
It was the top cost,
top cost.
yes.
And what does that represent?
That was the dual credit with Easter and Gateway.
Is that for just a
One semester.
particular
One semester.
student, or is that for a bunch of students?
8 or
I thought there was 12.
12 in that class.
12 in that class.
And that's our payment for their
For spring,
significant for their tuition.
for tuition and books.
And books, yeah.
That's another thing we might need some administrative guidelines on.
Right there.
Want to get all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay, thanks, Jen.
Any more discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Dennis?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes. Public participation. I don't think anybody signed up. Old business. Any? None? Student achievement report.
Sure. I lost one pair in Germany and found the other pair in my garage last weekend, so apologize. Neither one of them was the right prescription. Let's see here. On middle school and high school, we had the Environthon competition. It was Wednesday, April 22nd. Competed in Burton, Ohio at the Kent State Geauga campus. The girls' team consisted of Miranda Stark, Erica Grozecki, Gina Shar, Rachel Power, and Bailey Yeagley, who placed 13 out of 50, which is a very good performance. And the boys' team consisted of Mitchell Baker, Hunter Smith, Seth Whitmore, and Elias McMurray, and also Nathan Bowden. And they placed 30 out of 50. So proud of both our teams. Go Bears. And technically, the girls beat the boys. So that's.
Yeah, Mrs. Coffey mentioned that to me too.
They're going to compete head-to-head next. Spring Art Show. Congratulations to Sabrina Schneider, who won the Best of Show Senior Division for her pencil rendering. A couple other note here. Elena Vadino won Best of Show for the Junior Division, also in pencil rendering. And they were not of you, right? They were of other. Senior Art Exhibit categories. Quite a handful of first place finishers. First place ceramics was Devin Gavin. First place charcoal and pastels went to Christy Ekman. First place for creative ceramics went to Sergio Lopez. First place for creative sculpture, Josh Faulkner. First place on drawings was Julia Chewy. For mixed media, first place went to Rachel Power. Julia Chewy also took first place on painting. And my favorite, just first place on Ukrainian eggs, which I had one in Europe. Okay, you don't need them. Alexis Knight. So, following here, also on the junior art exhibit categories, there was first place in drawings for Samantha Lomper. First place for two-dimensional designs was Connor Hicks. And first place for Ukrainian eggs was Elena Vadino. And then finally, in the Knights of Columbus State competition, this was for the drug and alcohol poster contest. First place went to Regina Cornbaugh for ages 12 and 14. So congratulations on everybody. And I'm sure everyone not on this list, there was a lot of achievements also throughout the month.
And I'm just going to add, it's quite an event, and Mrs. Mitchell's here. You did a great job, and Mr. Rodick as well. It's a great event. Monday night was held, and she got me those results Monday night. I got them in my email, so thank you.
And one other note, I am getting pictures from the 8th grade class, did make it to D.C. Monument, so they are either in a Hollywood studio pretending to be in D.C., or they have actually made it.
They're there, good. Mr. Hendrick?
Superintendent's report?
Okay. The only report I have today is I'd like to honor a teacher that's retiring here in 4 more days, Mr. Carchetti. I'll tell you what, I've always said from day one, it's who you work with and coming to work, and I can't be more blessed or enjoy coming to work every day and walking down, making my first visits around the hall. Mr. Carchetti has a study hall for his period, so I stop in there and we talk sports. When I first got here, Mr. Carchetti told me 2 things. He said 2 things that I had to do. One, at that time we had exactly, and Jen, I talked about this in front of the subcommittee, and I also did a written testimony to the Senate recently. We had $40,000 in the general fund. Do you remember that? $40,000 was all we had. We were wondering how we would pay the bills. But we were calling the state saying, what do we have to do if we don't have the money to pay the bills? Mr. Carchetti had told me, I don't think he knew that situation, but he told me, he said 2 things. One is, there can be no consolidation until I retire, and I want a raise before I retire. And I was able to come through on both of them. I hope that...
I was going to say you achieved your goal.
Thank you. And like I said, for the staff and students, they do anything, and I really appreciate Mr. Carchetti. I enjoy going to his class. He invites me in for international, studying as a psychologist, and get to eat food from all over the world. Also, a lot of people, not too many people know this, but he scored. He beat Leetonia in high school 96 to 68, and I believe he had like 35 points, and I think Mr. Duco guarded you.
Larry Duco was high score for the game. We did kill Leetonia.
They did beat you. And I would say to a person, everybody I talk to, and I get around, everybody I talk to that played football at Leetonia always say that Mr. Carchetti was the best coach and mentor that they ever had. It's been an honor to be able to work with you for 6 years, Mr. Carchetti. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it, and I know our paths will still cross, but thank you for all you've done for the students, the staff, and the community. If you don't mind coming up, or if you want me to come back, I'll do that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mrs. Mitchell always takes care of everything. I want you to have this. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, give me a Kodak moment here. All right, come on. Hold on, I'm trying to get that glare out.
Brian, I said you had to be in the picture.
Thank you.
It's okay, you didn't get a watch, isn't it? It's okay, you didn't get a watch, isn't it?
So really, we're on item number 9. Motion.
I need a motion to move into executive session with no decision being made.
With action will be taken.
With no action being taken.
Action will be taken.
Action will be taken. Okay.
You have to give the reason. Compensation, employment compensation.
For compensation of a public employee
Or compensation and or employment.
and/or employment of a public employee.
He's still there.
I am, it's only my fourth month.
Good motion. Mr.
I'll second.
Should be a short one, right?
Should be very short.
Yes.
Very short.
Okay.
Jim, you talked about those days. There's going to be in the public session 5 board members and superintendent.
That's it.
Yeah.
Are we moving to the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jim?
Okay.
So-
I'll handle the crowd.
Good. We'll be back in 10 or 15 minutes. Hopefully shorter.
Well, then we don't have to worry.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, I was like, where'd that come from? Got it.
No, that's
What, right there? Yeah. I am so off kilter today. I left my whole packet at the in my office. Let me. I have it here.
All right.
You want to pass that?
Yeah.
No, girl.
Probably not, but
It's a nice cushion.
okay, no, I'm not saying not to do it. I was just, well, no, Matt Walters, boy, he needs it. Yeah. We never needed to worry about extra credit, did we? No, we're not trying to prove that right. Hell no, I didn't absorb that food. So.
I know. I just wrote everybody down, and I had to keep this too. Thank you. I hope I got that right, because I was saying it on the run, doing it on the run.
You ready? All right, brother. What do we have tomorrow? Which one? What the everything. Oh, all right. Okay.
I'll let you see what you want. I can also email it to you. You'll wake up and okay. Can you see them? I know it's small print. I forgot my paperwork I did. I had to go back. I forgot the packet you printed me. I didn't go back for that. No. Okay. You know what? We have had hell with I knew that. Don't be stingy. Yeah, we'll call it that.
Sorry, sir. I want a black one.
Get out of the
The way they're, I'm sorry about it.
We're good over here.
No, they haven't.
Sharon.
Yeah, I thought you rotated.
Usually, whoever calls the motion, I go to you first, and then whoever seconds, I go to there, and then I fill in.
I need a motion to reconvene.
No
Second.
No motion. Just say, we are now out of executive session.
We are now out of executive session, moving into new business.
Okay, I'm going to do business 10A, A1, personnel A1 and 2 together. Employment under a 2-year limited contract for the following teachers under there, as well as a 1-year contract for 15-16 for Sandy Mitchell.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. No discussion? Roll call, Jennifer?
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Willie?
Yes.
We're going to do 3 by itself, the following reemployment under a continuing contract starting with the 2015-16 school year for 2 bus drivers, Stephanie and Mrs. Luxel.
Motion.
Second. Discussion? Jennifer, roll.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Willie?
Yes.
I do 4. Just look at this guy's eating. Terry. Number 4, approve the suspension of the treasurer's salary scale.
Motion?
Second. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
You do 5.
5, to recommend the following employment under a 5-year limited contract starting with 2015 and 2016 school year for Jennifer Coldsnow. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we need a discussion? Are you allowed to do roll call?
We have to call her by
I think so. I'm just doing
she can do
roll call.
Okay, roll call. Jennifer, roll call.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
Number 6, to approve the suspension of the administrative salary scale approved in March of 2013.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
I'll say one thing on both of those, just so people understand, that we rolled the salaries into the contract.
Yes.
So if you look at a contract, you can see what people are making.
Right.
You don't have to worry about looking at a salary schedule, and is it the right one? Is it controlled? So I think it's much more clear to build salaries into a contract. I think that's what we did.
Correct.
Roll call.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
Number 7, I recommend the following employment under a 1-year limited contract starting with the 2015-16 school year for 512 Principal Troy Rudinsky.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
Who's second?
I got Mr. Henderson.
Mr. Hendricks.
You got Mr. Hendricks?
Arm wrestle.
Mike doesn't, Mike can have it.
It was kind of at the same time.
Mike can have it.
Okay.
I can pull it.
So good. And the discussion, Jennifer, roll call.
Mr. Jennings?
No.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
Number 8, I want to recommend the following employment under a 1-year limited contract for 2015-16 for Ed Ridgway, K-4 Principal and Special Ed Coordinator.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? I'd like to say a word about this, actually. I think Ed's done a really good job lately, and I'm glad he wants to stick around for another year. Roll call?
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
Number 9, I want to recommend the following employment under a 3-year limited contract starting with the 2015-2016 school year for Russ Miller, Maintenance and Transportation Director.
Motion?
Second.
No.
Motion. I keep thinking you're making the motion.
I'll second. You second?
I second.
Second. Do we have a discussion?
Just one thing, I think it's good that the superintendent is evaluating these people. It gives us something to look at. So I know you evaluated Russ. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's good to have those evaluations.
Roll call, Jennifer.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
Number 10, approve Mary Rice, counselor for 10 extended days at the end of the 2014-15 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
My discussion is, I said this before, I think this should be negotiated in the contract. The board shouldn't have to act on this. The superintendent shouldn't have to recommend. There's a lot of teachers that do a lot of work before and after school, and if we got into that business, we'd be in trouble. So I just would rather see this negotiated. So the next time we negotiate it would certainly be a point to negotiate.
Any further discussion? Jennifer, roll call.
Mr. Duco?
No.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
I'm going to do 11, 12, and 13 under A together. 11 is accept the resignation of Trevor Greenfield. 12 is the resignation of Lori Dean. And 13 is approve Shannon Marr for 1 day of unpaid leave of absence.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
I will say that both teachers got jobs. Other Trevor will be going to California, and Lori will be going to Southern Local. So wish them the best of luck. They did a great job for us. Last night, if you saw the show, it was a very nice third and fourth grade program, and the night before, a very good first and second grade program. He involves everybody in the music, and Lori does a great job as well, both with softball and with math.
Trevor's going to California?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Jennifer, roll.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
I'm going to do two motions in B, supplemental contracts. The first motion is for the assistants in number 1 through 4, number 6, and 8 through 22. I'm going to pull out number 5 and 7.
Say that
So I'll
again.
make that motion. 1 through 4,
Second.
6.
8 through 22. 8 through 22.
I'm pulling out 5 and 7.
You're pulling out 5 and 7.
Yeah, I would have been.
All right.
Move into discussion.
Okay, who's second?
Who seconded that?
I got
I did.
Mr. Duco.
I got the motion. I need a motion. Mr.
I was second.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody has all their coaching certificates?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the girls soccer coach has not got that in yet. That's why he's not on the, by the way.
Football coaches have theirs?
Football coaches are all good. I just signed off on Joe's, I believe, the other day.
Is there a soccer schedule yet?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he sent it today. I'll send it out.
Oh.
I don't remember. I think 10 games for the girls. Kurt.
It goes to 22, not 21.
Kurt, we don't have
Yeah,
to,
I
we don't have to give him a check
22.
anymore.
I'm sorry, thanks.
So we don't have to give him a check anymore.
Right, so
22.
You're including 22?
Yeah, it's on the, I'm sorry, that's my notes on the other page.
Okay.
Any discussion or any more discussion? Jennifer, roll.
Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings? Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
We're going to do supplemental contracts 5 and 7, high school detention from Mrs. Duco and Saturday school monitor from Mrs. Duco.
I'll put the motion in.
Second.
Discussion. Jennifer, roll.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Duco?
Abstain.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do C through F as one motion. Substitute Melanie Glosser for cook and custodian for the 2015-16 school year. A resolution authorizing continued membership in Ohio School Athletic Association. Use of facilities for the athletic department for the gym yesterday for physicals and for driving school in June. Approve the annual renewal for El Marisa Cooperative Service for the 2015-16 school year. Mrs. Stelz will hold CPR in the middle school library on June 2nd. An increase in cafeteria prices, as well as last month we had a policy on College Credit Plus. It was a first reading. This is approval of that policy.
Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
On the substitute janitors, so do we have trouble with substitute janitors getting enough of them?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the other day we couldn't get enough, and actually we had that custodian come in that had time off. He was nice enough to come in, actually 2 days after surgery, to come in and work because we couldn't get a substitute. Appreciate that.
How many subs do we have for custodian?
3, don't we?
We have 3 now.
We have Jordan.
Bill's saying one.
Jordan's the only one we use.
We have Andrea
Andrea Percy. Andrea Percy.
Now she has another job. She can only work plus calling.
She can.
She can only work
Certain times. So really only one that can work on a regular
There's
basis.
only one. I don't know why Pam, they quit using Pam, and now she won't come back because they just stuck with Jordy, which Mark's boy, I mean, you know.
I thought Pam got another job.
Yeah, I think so too. So we're down to one function. One
functional substance, yeah.
Out of curiosity, like, how many times a month are you looking for someone, like 2 or 3 times a month?
What?
For a sub?
So, no, we've got an older group, and we've had a lot of personal stuff going on, you know.
Like once a week?
Like I broke my kneecap, I was off for 3-4 weeks. I just had surgery for 4 weeks. Diane's husband broke his hip. He was off. She was off for 2 weeks. So we got an older group. We just never know if something comes up, you know. And now Terry's got some serious problem coming in. We don't know what's going to happen.
If push came to shove and you were in dire straits, can we go out and go to a temporary agency? Is that what you'd have to do? I mean,
It's a good
we
idea.
need some kind of fallback.
Yeah, we
plan.
obviously are saving that on.
Yeah.
As long as they're approved for life.
As long as you guys
Yeah,
approve it.
I mean, I don't know how all that works, but that would probably be something we should take a look at.
Yeah, because it's getting tough.
Oh, it is, it really is.
On F4,
F4.
the college credit plus.
Yes.
Has that changed at all, or is it the same exact policy that we've had?
It's changed a bit. It's under all one umbrella, your dual credit, your post-secondary, and your used to be seniors and sophomores. They all are under one umbrella. You have to, the deadlines are a little bit tighter by May 1st. You also get a cheaper rate. They used to charge you up to the full amount. Now they're going to charge you only, they cap it. If you do it under memorandum of understanding with the university.
And is that only through Eastgate? Or
Whatever university will give you a memorandum of understanding.
So, I mean, is Mount Union off of that, or Kent
Mount
State?
Union has not come to any meetings. We have meetings for that. Mount Union is not represented.
Are we able to reach out to, like...
I'm sorry about that, Mrs. Smith. Mount Union graduate.
No, about Kurt. Kurt,
Oh,
too.
Kurt too. I forgot. Yeah, Kurt too.
Yeah, Kurt's, no, I would like to reach out to Mount Union, to have them, Kent State, Mount Union. We have a lot of schools that are close to here,
I think Mount Union will be good.
and Mount Union is a top-notch school, so
Yeah.
it's the Harvard of Ohio, right?
They've done all they can.
They have Don Ponce. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Any further discussion? Jennifer, roll.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Jennings? Mr. Duco?
Yes.
Mr. Rowley?
Yes.
Okay, I had some discussion items, but I know the banquet's getting ready to start. I wanted to update on the textbooks. The academic committee met, and we had talked about textbooks for the, we did an inventory. We've had one, probably Mr. Rudinsky, for what, 3 or 4 years now. We started an inventory, kind of following the textbooks. We decided we needed math, social studies, middle school language arts, and that was it for this year. So just wanted to update you, the math K-8, we're looking at purchasing the everyday math. They've had meetings. The requisition is just being completed. Mr. Ridgway is on the phone today. It's going to be about $28,000, a little north of that. Social studies, Mr. Rudinsky has been meeting with Mr. Kibler and Mr. Costello. And final determination is the U.S. history and world history books need to be replaced, and that cost is going to be about $7,900, and then the U.S. government for about $6,000, so a total of $13,000 in that department. English language arts, grades 7 and 8, we're looking at about $12,000. They met yesterday. That is proposed. They have not made a final decision, I don't think. Mr. Rudinsky, you're still in the planning stages. That's an estimate. And the Math 912 is still meeting. I have no data on that meeting as of now. And then the dual credit that you're talking about, we're going to do YSU with Mrs. Roth. I'd just like to thank the board again for, as we look at permanent improvement, as I said, I mean, we have overcome a lot of financial things, and now we're at the point where we're buying textbooks. I've always told the staff I've never really denied a purchase order. Whatever I can get for them, I will. And now it's exciting to be at a place where we're able to buy textbooks and look at this rotation. Just like we did with computers, we're getting 65 computers this year through PI. And I want to thank the board for really supporting bringing all this new equipment, books, and equipment into the buildings. So,
Can I comment on this?
yes.
Of course, people in the community know that as far as Leetonia goes, in my opinion, I think academics are top priority. So kids come here to learn. So we have to give them a top-notch education. I mean, hands down. I guess my question I see we have a lot of teachers in the audience, and feel free to speak out, is the last 6 years I've been on the board, the most common thing I've heard through parents who are my constituents telling me, we don't have enough textbooks, we don't have textbooks. I've talked to some teachers on one-on-one, and I've never been able to get my arms 100% around this, because in a modern day where this is king, and you can have 1 million textbooks right here, and you can print off things on our Xerox machine, and you can take a chapter from this book or a chapter from that book, and you could compile them together and almost like a college approach to teaching. I get that. That makes sense. But, of course, I was raised where you have a book. You bring a book home. My wife says to my kids, where are your books? I've had my wife say to me, we don't have you. How do you teach without a book? And then my kids will say, well, we got this for this, we got this for this. And that's intriguing to me. Being teachers, where are we at? I mean, is it good for us to buy these books for you guys and then maybe compensate with extra periodicals that you get from the internet that you could download? Are we buying the right books? Are we buying a book that's going to be relevant in 5 years from now? We're looking at a nice price tag, which, being stewards of the money is wonderful when we can reinvest in our tools to educate our kids so we move up those rankings. We've moved up dramatically in the state rankings, and we want to keep going. We want to go for that camp order pull-in status. Are we buying the right books? Are you guys comfortable with this? I see some head nods. Is this an exciting thing for the teachers?
And I have to say Mr. Ninsky does a good job getting the committee together and meeting with that to go through all that.
Any comments?
As the art teacher, I don't need a book because I feel with a projector, internet, I can take my kids to any art museum anywhere, show them anything.
Okay.
So for me, books,
Don't mean much.
no. But
Any other teachers?
I would.
Yeah, I look at it as, even though I'm outgoing here and maybe perhaps a little old school.
Speak your mind.
College, they're still using textbooks, okay? My daughter's still in college, and she's using the textbook. Yeah, there's supplemental materials that, anybody can use. I do. I know a lot of other teachers do. I mean, you don't have to stay with the textbook, but it should be the core of what you're doing.
Okay.
Kids need that. They need that primary source.
I just want to say in K2, it would be really nice to have a systematic phonics program. We have Fontes and Pinnell. Seems like we have to pick and pull and choose. But we were looking at fundamentals. I don't know where that has gone. It's a systematic program that would be K2. Everybody would follow. It's both.
You think would that be relevant for the next 10 years, you think?
Phonics is phonics.
Yeah, it never changes. Okay.
So that's phonics.
Yeah, Ed's looking.
Okay. Sure, we'll keep looking at that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Troy?
The one thing I want to mention in this research process and the textbooks we're looking to purchase, the good thing is they come with a 6-year digital license for online, materials, much like the science books we purchased. I think it was 2 years
For any
ago.
amendments that come to the books?
What's that?
The amendments that for new editions, you get that automatically for 6 years?
Well, no, this is just, as far as you would get the supplemental aspects of online capabilities with the textbook.
Oh, okay.
And, being 2016, and then we also get anything like, for example, quizzes and tests, a CD that the teachers get to be able to use. So that there's a lot of technology embedded in the bundles that we're purchasing. So it's, in comparison to right now Southern Locals using e-books for math. Well, our kids right now, I don't know that we have the capabilities consistently across the board for them to go home and utilize those like they would, the textbooks. So, I think the textbooks are a better fit, at this time, for that.
Okay.
What's the total of what was the total of our purchase price? It was about $105,000. I think it was about 105, wasn't it?
What we allocated?
Yeah, well-
We allocated 107. We're 55. But we don't have the high school math right now. We allocated 107,000. We're 55 total what we have ordered, but we have no math.
We budgeted 107.
We have a budget of 107.
Purchase price at about 55.
Right.
So what's more to come?
Right, with high school math to come.
Then the next question would be, not tonight, but what are you planning on next year and the year?
Yeah, and we have
Right,
a
and then
rotation.
there we get our
Yes.
rotation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. And we have talked about, discussed that.
Yep.
And we'll make sure, talk to Ed about making sure phonics is in
And
there.
yeah, sure, we're not going to
Yeah,
forget
we're not going to
you.
forget that.
Don't you worry, you're going to... You move to the top of the class.
You got the table? No, that's just an update for you guys. That's our, and I would like to thank the board. That's the academic committee. The board comes in on nights and meets with me, academic, building and grounds, policy. I would thank you guys for coming in and doing that throughout the month. I appreciate it.
Final discussion. Larry, would you like to say anything?
The only thing I have is I did 2 packs of information, one for you and one for the Vice President, Richard, and it concerns evaluation of the superintendent. I think as a board we should probably take a look at that. So you guys are welcome to look at that, read through what you think is pertinent. If you want to go with that, we can start on that, but I think it benefits the superintendent, it benefits the board.
Excellent. Well, we want everyone in the district to have that.
Yeah.
The whole district.
Exactly.
The only thing I want to say is, any seniors in here, I want to wish wonderful blessings to our senior class. I'm very proud of each and every one of them. It's unbelievable that the school year is over. I'm just proud to represent the seniors in any way, shape, or form, and we have the best kids in the whole state, no doubt. And I wish them God blessings.
Looking forward to Mrs. Rowell has me speak to them tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Good.
Michael.
Yes, sir.
Kurt Jennings.
I won't be here Sunday. My daughter is graduating at Salem.
Okay.
This is my last meeting, however. It's been a good 7.5 years. I think we've done a lot. Where we came financially, academically, morale was down, interactions with the community were pathetic. We've added some sports dynamics and expanded some teams. I think you've got some huge opportunities ahead with making sure our policies and our disciplines are applied fairly and uniformly, and we can reach out and fix the absenteeism with a little bit more care and communication with the community. But with that, I appreciate the time the voters are giving me, but I think it's time to give someone else a chance.
Well, I want to say something also in regards to you. Kurt Jennings approached me 7 years ago when Michelle Botok and I and Danny were going door to door knocking on houses when we lost 7 levies in a row. And people were slamming the door in our face and saying you're not going to get another penny. And I'd take off work on election days and I would run people to the votes. And time after time we lost our levies, and all the girls in here know what I'm saying. I mean, it was brutal. And so Kurt told me, why don't you run for the school board? And I said, well, why should I? And he says, just come to one school board meeting. So I did. And if anyone comes to any of these school board meetings in the last 6 years that I've been here, we don't silence anybody. You have an equal opportunity to come here and voice your opinions, your concerns, anything you want. The board meeting I went to, you had 1 minute to speak with no rebuttal. So you spoke and that was it. The morale of the whole community was horrific. We had a 5-year fiscal projection of being $8 million in debt. All that's changed. And the only reason why I'm on the school board is because of Kurt Jennings, because he said we can make a difference. I don't want to get emotional, but I think we have made a difference. I think we have the best school district in the state. I really do. And I want to thank you, Kurt, for talking to me to join.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adjourn?
Motion.
Motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
Second. Adjourn.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Finish them up, Ross.